Alright guys, we'll go back to the 76 Grand Cross video. We now know the next festival character coming towards Grand Cross, and obviously as you can tell I'm very excited. And am I surprised? No, because at least the hints that we saw behind the scenes of like how they've been gearing up towards the November festival, it really had to be a hype character. So it could only be Lancelot. Like, if I'm being honest with you lot, right? Yes, it is Lancelot. You saw the thumbnail title, which I want to quickly shout myself out here. You know, 7 months ago, predicting every festival character in 2024, and hey, we got some right. I mean, Arthur, I made it after Arthur, so he was guaranteed, right? In May was Escanor, which obviously was wrong. I think did Percival come out in July? I thought he would be a festival, he won. But instead we got Subnak, which I didn't think they would actually do. And then we did get 4. It wasn't in September, it was the month prior, so I think that was actually in July. They swapped the spots of getting the Ragnarok festivals, which, to be fair, actually when Percival came out, so I guess they just swapped those two around, which would have been I mean, you know what, I'm taking a cut of there. We didn't get Festival Percival, but he did release for an end of month, and yeah, in November, I predicted Lancelot because I imagined they actually would have been quite deep in towards the actual, you know, Fortnite story, but they're not. We're not even in chapter 3 yet, or chapter 2 technically, because we only got in 1 chapter, not including the prologue. But yeah, we're jumping super far ahead to get Lancelot, which, you know, the game needs it at this point. Like, when you really do need a hype character, it's just very weird not to have Donnie, Annie, or Arn, sorry, and Nasty's in the game, Pelagard, Ironside. We don't have any of them, and we're getting Lancelot, one of the 4 knights. That just comes down towards Netmarbles and competence this year. We're releasing so many OCs, even now after getting, you know, I don't mind collabs, right, because collabs always come in at collab spots. But even now, we're getting another OC character, you know. We've gotten so many this year. We're getting Sigurd tonight. But I think it was very obvious Lancelot was coming just based off Percival's passive alone. If you don't know what his character does, well, we're not going to go over everything he does, right? But the applicable allies does say human and fairies, which, you know, makes sense, right? Because he only really hangs around with humans and fairies, which the fairies part could lead a bit more in towards spoilers, you could say, which I'm not going to get into, towards a certain character. But obviously the big fairy, and I guess even human anyway, was Lancelot. So that was, once again, added theories towards Lancelot coming towards the game. And I guess the big one I'll talk about right now is, which, little side note, by the way, they recently added it with, obviously, Percival, once again, gearing up towards Lancelot, the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse tab, which I want to explain quickly, son. It is characters that are the 4 Knights, not from Fortnite Apocalypse, right? Because this Tristan is not from 4 Knights, but he is still a 4 Knights character. See, when we do get like the other characters like Donnie, Arn, and Nastians, they won't be in this tab because they are not 4 Knights. But yeah, going back towards obviously Tristan, he is obviously unknown. If I don't know the reason for it, it's because he is a Niflheim, I think that's pronounced it. They revealed his race in the show, which is obviously a mix between goddess and demons, and therefore it created his own race. They didn't really elaborate ever towards what obviously, you know, Lancelot is, which is a human and fairy. So there's honestly 2 ways they can do about it. One, just give him human because he looks more humanoid, and then give his fairy form fairy race, but then still have a part of passive. Yes, he is still a fairy, even though he is a human race. Or the opposite, he's a fairy but has a human actual tag as well through the passive. Or they just make him unknown, and just whenever they make a character for the character, they'll just give him the actual human and also fairy race. And it's kind of what I thought they would do with Tristan, which you can still do in the future. Granted, this one is just a throwaway one. This is the end of 76 Tristan, so no one really cares about him. If anything, he's more of like a meme character by taking skills from previous Medios and Elizabeth to say, hey, yeah, this is the son. Honestly, one of the most flavorable characters in the game, even though he's absolutely arse. But, you know, I do imagine they'll do something similar towards, obviously, Tristan in the future. When we do get his base Tristan from 4 Knights, it will be more or less a goddess, because that is his goddess powers, goddess forms. And when we do get, like, the demon Tristan, he would then be a demon race, but still work with goddesses. Or they might just lean more towards him just being a demon character. Or they might lean more towards them buffing up characteristics for 4 Knights Apocalypse, because that's, yes, one thing I want to talk about. It's possible that if they want to, I don't know if they're going to do it actually, because, you know, there's not that many 4 Knights, and if anything, you're only going to buff up Percival, and just kid Tristan, which probably won't be a good thing. But they could obviously buff up Fortnite's characters, which they might wait for the future, maybe like Gawain, or maybe even Tristan in the future, once we've already gotten a few characters and have Lancelot previously in the game. But yeah, that's kind of all we know about Lancelot so far. I will say, I really do hope they bring back the intros for characters. It's very possible they only done that for obviously Escanor because they had to show him transforming, but I really do hope they bring that back. And to be fair, they haven't really had the chance to bring it back really, because since Escanor we got, what was it, Subnac and then 4, which to be fair they could have had intros, but do they deserve it? Probably not. And then we got obviously a collab, and we got a Percival that wasn't a festival character, so we haven't really had the chance to get intros. And I would say, I want anyone to get an intro. Lancelot probably does deserve it because of his reveal in the anime and manga. Super iconic, him, you know, the smoke clearing. In fact, I would love if they even just see Sin transform into Lancelot, and then you see once again the smoke a little bit. I know they could do so much stuff with intros, and I really hope they start to bring it back a little bit, just to add more flavor towards like the UR festival. Say, hey, this is a pretty big character. And I will say, I was going to make a video about it, but it's already been leaked, so I'm not obviously going to do it right now. But the actual November festival is looking like to be one of the most hyped up festivals in a long time. Before we saw that actually Lancelot was coming, the reason why I say that is because of 3 things. One is that, yes, they are doing the global sync, so they really want this Lancelot or the November festival to be played by everyone, which I do think is a really good move. 2 is they're now advertising in Korea. That's something that I don't really see too often. Not that I live in Korea, but I don't normally see people posting about it, like adverts in Korea. Maybe they're doing it in Japan as well, I don't know. But once again, they really want people to know about Grand Cross and what's happening in November. And I think I can share it because they're no longer doing it with me, but I actually got reached out by a company on behalf of Netmarble to do a sponsorship for Grand Cross. I know it doesn't make sense because I already upload Grand Cross, but I wasn't the only person. My brother who uploads BBS also got reached out to do a sponsorship for Netmarble for Grand Cross, and I know a few other people for like Epic 7 and a lot of people. If you watch a gacha game YouTuber, they more likely got reached out by Netmarble to do a sponsorship for November for the Lancelot release. We obviously just didn't know it was Lancelot, which once again means Netmarble really wants people to know about this November festival. You know, I think if you go back and look, they don't really do sponsorships ever for Grand Cross. They didn't do it for Ragnarok. I think the only time they ever did it was literally for the start of the game release. So yeah, Netmarble is really hyping this collaboration. Adverts in Korea, sponsorships in, I guess, the West here for YouTubers, and also the global sync. It's a pretty big turning point for Grand Cross. I'm looking forward towards it. So, yeah, guys, that's probably going to wrap up the video. If you're excited for Lancelot, I definitely am. If I had to guess, just type in probably blue, because we actually do need not a counter for Millen, but I did say when the Millen came out, Millen's broken, and what I'm more scared of is what comes out after her. What are they going to do to counter this Millen? And blue Lancelot is probably the way to do it, right? Remember, November and December are pretty big festivals, so we still have the end of December to look forward to. But yeah, leaks do say that's going to be King Melee. I'm hoping to be the Sotmo Melee, because we still need the one from the final fight where he does do the combo attack Nemesis, and that'll be a good way to actually have a new summer animation for the actual, you know, summons, because they like to do one every year now. So, yeah, guys, that is going to wrap up today's video. Let me know if you're excited. We'll be definitely doing a breakdown on the channel very, very soon, because we still have about, what, 2 weeks, maybe a week, I think, before the character actually comes out. We might have a step up in between, which would be pretty cool to get Sin. I mean, it's weird to get Lancelot before Sin. I thought that would have been a free character. So if we can get a step up next week, which will be or a free banner, which will be Sin and the leads in towards Lancelot, that'd be very cool. Wouldn't mind that. But we're definitely doing a breakdown of how the character will play on the channel within the next coming weeks. So guys, thank you for watching, and yeah.